passed. Congressman Garamendi said thereafter, today the House of Representatives stood unified that we will not rush into a third Gulf War. The Constitution gives Congress the right and obligation to give advice and consent before waging war. I have serious doubts about waging any military campaign in Iraq, and clearly, he says, I am not alone. Joining us now for the interview is Congressman John Garamendi of California, a member of the Armed Services Committee, and one of the two members of Congress who got this language passed through the House. Congressman, thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate your time.
Always a pleasure.
So what does this language do, and how did you get it passed through a Republican-controlled House where no Democratic measures ever get passed?
Well, this one did get passed because I think there's real serious concern among both Democrats and Republicans about Iraq 3.0. We've been there, we've done that. This is a very, very complex and a very dangerous situation. We should be very slow to war. And that resolution that is now over on the Senate side says, unless the president comes back to us as required by the War Powers Act, money is cut off. There'll be no money. Hopefully that will become the law. The Senate's going to take it up in this next month of July. If it becomes the law, then that'll be it. We will have to carry out our constitutional responsibilities. We were elected to obey the Constitution, to carry out the responsibilities. We must do so.
So to be clear, this is language that's attached to the Pentagon spending bill. It would apply to all defense spending and would say that none of that money, no Pentagon money, could be spent on new hostilities, new U.S. military involvement in Iraq other than defending the embassy, unless the president got overt permission from Congress.
That's correct. That's exactly what it does. We've had the War Powers Act around for a long time, since the Vietnam War, and all too often it's ignored by the president and Congress. But this one, should this become law, and I hope the Senate will follow our lead on this, it has real teeth. There's a hammer here, and the hammer will come down unless the president comes back, gets congressional approval to conduct a long-scale war in Iraq.
You heard the clips that I played there at the part of the introduction just because I wanted to sort of get them on the record saying it. And it's not only Republicans that have said it. A lot of members of Congress, both in the House and the Senate, Republican and Democratic, have said that they think the president has the ability to do this unilaterally. You obviously disagree. Your language that you got passed obviously makes clear that you disagree. I think constitutionally you're right here and they're plainly wrong. But what's the sort of pulse in Congress? Is it, do people widely agree or have one position or another on whether or not it's Congress's responsibility here?
Well, we will ultimately see, but right now there's clearly probably around 180 firm votes about not going to war in Iraq once again. That was shown in the various amendments that were in the House appropriation bill for the Department of Defense. We'll see what happens. A lot will depend upon the circumstances, but I think it's very clear to me, and I hope increasingly clear to the American public, that this is a major religious war that's been going on for 1,400 years. And we're going to find ourselves right smack in the middle of it. And on whose side? You've got Iran, you've got Iraq involved, you've got Syria, you've got all of these factions going back and forth. Exactly whose side will we be on? Well, the side we'll be on is right smack in the middle of a very complex, difficult, and very dangerous sectarian war, religious war between two factions of the Muslim religion.
Which is why everybody's always very happy to pass the sort of hot potato on this and not be stuck making their own decision on it. You're trying to stop that from happening. Congressman John Garamendi.
We can't dodge. This is our responsibility. We all took the oath. The Constitution is quite clear. It's up to Congress to either go to war or not.
Congressman John Garamendi of California, member of the House Armed Services Committee, thank you for helping us understand this, sir.